is Tariq Talk. Your host, Tariq Mendez, takes you on a journey with guests from all around the world. Broadcasting around the world. Around the world. This is Tariq Talk.
Hey guys, we are here today at the Mana Contemporary, and I'm getting a chance, so lucky to get a chance to talk to Perdita. Perdita, how are you today?
I'm good, thank you.
Thank you for being here. It's a pleasure to have you here today. Perdita is part of the ESKFF residency. Am I getting that right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah? Okay, cool. Do you want to start a little bit telling us about yourself?
Okay, I'm a British artist. I did a residency of SKF about 6 years ago and was invited back, but it took a little while to come back because a little pandemic got in the way.
Okay.
But yeah, so I've been here for 2 months working really hard and got 11 paintings done, and it's been great. Yeah.
That's amazing. And what's your creative process like?
Ooh, that's a big question.
Like when you show up to the studio, are you able to get to work right away, or do you need to kind of like get a meditation or a coffee going and relax?
Well, coffee's definitely welcome.
Yes,
It's definitely welcome. But no, I usually know what I want to do of a day.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty motivated like that.
That's amazing. And do you have a preference of like time of day that you like to work? Are you like a night owl, or do you prefer the mornings?
Well, I've got 2 kids, so they've turned me into a morning person where I wasn't before. I've had no choice. So, yeah, I find it quite good to get in quite early.
Oh, wow, 2 kids. You seem so... I thought, like, we were the same age. You seem so young. That's amazing.
Bless you.
And do you think having... Because this is what I find very fascinating. Artists that don't have children, this is like, when I ask them, what do you see yourself for the future? Mm-hmm. This is like their main goal. It's like to have my kids... have them hopefully around me painting while I'm painting. Do you think having children as an artist has like impacted your work or inspired you in a way?
Well, both, yes.
Yeah. And
I think it can be a lot tougher on women than men, and I think history kind of bears that out, really. Mm-hmm. I mean, of course it sort of curtails a lot of what you can do and takes time and all the rest of it, but having my kids has also been a massive inspiration, and it's sort of, you have to sort your shit out. Do you know what I mean? You have to kind of get your priorities right and figure out what you want to do in life, what you want out of it. So I mean, if anything, it's made me more ambitious.
Mm-hmm. And do you find it like hard balancing like having kids and being an artist, like, or does that give you like kind of like an endless inspiration because you're kind of able to see the world through their perspective? When they were younger. You're still young. Hello.
Oh, bless you. No, when they were little and I wasn't getting much sleep, then yeah, that was really, really, really tough.
Yeah.
Not so much now. In quite a good sort of routine with it. I get a lot of studio time. I get to go out and about in London a lot.
Wow.
But I mean, I wanted to do this residency obviously because New York is the biggest art mecca in the world. It's amazing. But also just to have a really fixed, concentrated time on my work. And so it's been really good doing that.
Well, that's amazing. And are you an artist that when you're working, do you enjoy having people around you? Like before this residency, did you like the output or having people around you, or did you find yourself getting distracted?
I'm quite good at knuckling down when I need to, so sort of drowning stuff out. No, I love interacting with other artists. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
It's so interesting, like endlessly meeting other artists and chatting about what they do. But yeah, I mean, being an artist, you are kind of on your own a lot with your head, and I'm fine with that. I can put my headphones on.
And you mentioned 11 paintings. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit about them? Is it like a series?
Yeah, so it's sort of following on a bit from work I was doing in the UK, where they're sort of strange, objecty things floating in the sea. I mean, you could say surreal seascapes. I don't know, but a lot of them are sort of look like they're made of sort of ice cream and tiles from Subway or London Underground, or they're sort of about a lot of things. They're about sort of shifting forms and shifting time and challenging states of matter, sort of quantum physics-y stuff.
That's cool. And how does like ideas come to you? Do you have to be in motion? Do you have to be still? Like, where do you get your ideas from?
Ooh.
Or is it like spontaneous for you?
Well, I have to keep my sketchbook near me because you don't know, really.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I mean, you can't force ideas
or
whatever. You just have to keep sketching in your sketchbook, keep writing things down, and sort of see what floats to the surface.
Yeah.
And if it comes up, then, you know, that's a sign that it needs to be made.
Oh, wow, that's very disciplined. So you always keep a sketchbook with you? Like, if you have an idea, you just jot it down?
Yeah, I mean, I find that if I don't have the sketchbook near, it's kind of hard to get to sleep. Because then I will start thinking of ideas and I will start bubbling over.
Yeah.
But if my sketchbook's there, I can just quickly scribble something down and then it's off my brain.
Oh, wow.
So
that's very cool, because a lot of people, like, for example, I just let my ideas incubate and it drives me crazy.
Yeah.
But I love when I get to talk to artists that they're so, like, disciplined in their craft, that they have the sketchbook, they're able to, like, jot it down right away. So congrats on that. That's really cool.
Well, it's quite a good one, because otherwise it would drive me crazy too. So it's good to have it. I know it's written down. I know it's drawn. So, I can reference.
And I get a lot of these questions from young artists that they tell me to ask future guests. In terms of young artists that they feel in their soul they're an artist, they want to pursue that, but they're not sure what to do. What's an advice that you would give a young artist, like, who knows they're an artist but they don't know exactly where to go or what to believe in?
I think there's kind of two parts to that question. There's sort of what the artist will produce, and I think you can't force that, and you shouldn't force it. You should just kind of live your life and see if it comes to you. Yeah. And if you want to do something, if you want to produce a certain type of work, then just work really, really hard at it and be prepared for a lot of it not to work out. Yeah. So I think there's that side of it. Because you have to kind of ask why you want to be an artist as well. I think that's a good question to ask yourself. Absolutely. But I suppose the second part to that question is, especially as young artists, knowing about the way the art world works and sort of navigating it and finding the bits of it that are good for you can be really tricky. And I mean, there's no simple answer to that, really. Yeah. I think just be interested and sort of go to as many galleries and shows as you can.
Well, that's amazing advice. And my favorite question that I like to ask the guests is, what's an advice, like artistic business advice, that you would tell your younger self?
I don't know if I'd take my own advice, but I'd tell myself to not worry so much about what other people think and just properly trust my instincts and go with it.
Oh, that's beautiful. And when you're done with the artwork, do you enjoy hearing like the critiques of the artwork, or do you prefer just to see people from afar enjoying your artwork?
I think it's important to get critique on your artwork for many reasons. It needs to be at the right time and at the right point. Yeah. Because sometimes if you're still kind of thinking about an idea or still in the middle of a work and someone criticizes it, it can really kind of sway where you go. But when you finish something, I mean, always, whether you buy into what people are saying or not, it's a gift. People giving you that critique is a gift, and you don't have to have it. You don't have to own it.
And you mentioned galleries and going to galleries in New York City. Is that something that you use for your like creative process? Like, look, like when you're going to galleries or seeing art, are you kind of like just using that moment to relax, or are you using that moment to get inspired and get creative ideas?
I suppose it depends what's in the gallery, really. So both of those things, and also because I like to know what's going on, and I like to have a feel for different spaces and learn about new artists, but you don't know if you're going to go to a show and it's going to be a bit meditative and sort of serene, or I went to the Whitney, what was the artist called? Josh someone. Sorry,
No worries, no worries.
remember. But anyway, it was amazing.
Is it a current show at the Whitney?
Yeah. He does like there's some AI stuff, there's some 3D printing, there's...
I can't remember the name.
I can't remember the name.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was like massively full on and of the time. It was so now.
Mm-hmm.
It was so kind of dystopian, utopian future in your face. And it was amazing, but it was very overwhelming. So yeah, I like the surprise of it as well. You don't know. And if you see something on Instagram, it could look so different in life. Nothing can replace that, really.
Yeah. And do you ever like create an artwork that you're not sure about, you don't really understand it, but you go with it, but then later on you kind of look back and you're like, oh my gosh, I was like going through something and it reflected on that, but now I understand it and it makes much more sense to me now than it did back then when I finished it.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a quote, and I forget who said it, but someone said you can't live your life and understand it at the same time.
Oh,
and
wow.
I scrawled it on my studio wall at home because I just thought,
actually.
yeah, that's it. Because sometimes it doesn't make sense, and it's a weird feeling because you're kind of, I don't know if it's just subconscious, but you're sort of ahead of yourself in some way. And
no, I get what you mean. And who are your influences? Like, who are you inspired by?
Oh, that's a big question. Who am I really digging right now? Fiona Banner, I'm checking out a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I really love Katie Patterson. You stumped me. There's too many.
No
There's too many.
just
I've
at the
seen
moment.
so much amazing art here as well. I mean, my head's so full at the moment. I need to decompress.
Yes.
But yeah.
And how do you do, like, one thing that I like learning about from other people is like your artistic self-care routine. Like, how are you able to like kind of unplug, you know, and not have your mind constantly think all the time?
I don't know.
It just happens?
Well, not necessarily, but I know at the moment I've been working so hard that I need to unplug when I go home. And so I've got another artist using my studio at home, so I can't get in there for a week.
Oh, wow.
Which I think's probably a really good thing.
Yeah, but that's kind of cool, like, to go back and see, like, how they kind of use the space in a way that you never thought of.
Yeah.
Because it happened to me once,
Yeah, no, it is cool, and she's a friend of mine, and
oh, that's amazing.
And then I'll get my lovely studio back. I've missed it.
Yes.
But I think it's good to have that week just to get my bearings, get over my jet lag, decompress, and just
be still in a way, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. All right, so do you want to share with us any future projects you have coming up?
Yeah, sure. So currently I've got painting in the summer show at the Royal Academy back in the UK.
Oh, wow, congrats.
Thank you. And I'm waiting on the John Moores Painting Prize, which is a big thing in the UK, but I've learned it's not here. So I've been telling people and they've been looking blank, but never mind. And I've got a show coming up, a group show in London, September. Okay. And then quite a lot of other stuff brewing.
That's amazing.
And yeah, I'd love to come back here and exhibit because it's awesome over here.
Congrats. Do you mind sharing your Instagram and your website just so we can like follow you and then keep up with all your cool stuff?
So my Instagram is at Perdita Sinclair. That's PERDITASINCLAIR. Sorry, I always have to spell my name.
Yes,
no
please
one knows otherwise.
It's always best.
And my website's just perditasinclair.com.
Perfect. Easy breezy.
Yeah.
And are you open to commissions? Like if somebody hears this podcast and sees your work and they reach out to you through your Instagram or website?
I'm really happy for anyone to reach out to me, but because of the kind of work I do, it's not really commissionable, if that's good grammar or not. But they're welcome. Reach out, ask whatever you like. but it's not really commission work.
Perfect. Okay, no worries. Thank you so much for being on the podcast.
Thank
It's been
you.
a pleasure. I'm so honored to have you here and getting to learn about you and your process. Thank you so much,
Okay,
Perdita.
cheers.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Tariq Talk. Follow Tariq Talk on all social media channels and check out the video interviews online.